Somalia in 1993 was a country in anarchy. Heavily armed clan militias fighting for control, a population in desperate need of food, with over 500,000 dying of starvation. When the UN arrived to hand out food, the US military deployed in force to back them up. At first it worked. The aid got through and US boots on the ground were welcomed. President Bush Sr. even made a triumphant visit. But in June that year, this local warlord, Mohammed Aidid, ordered his men to ambush the UN's Pakistani peacekeepers. 24 were killed and 57 injured. The UN declared war on Aidid's militia, and the US military went after him. On October the 3rd, 1993, an elite US task force launched an assault into the heart of Aidid's territory. They have intelligence that Aidid is meeting 20 of his top people at a hotel in the city. A force of 19 aircraft, 12 vehicles and 160 troops leave their base on an operation planned to last just 90 minutes. They don't return for 17 hours. 50 minutes into the mission, the first Blackhawk is shot down by a rocket-propelled grenade. 20 minutes later, a second Blackhawk is downed. The task force is surrounded and a ground convoy of troops is sent in to rescue them. A battle ensues throughout the night. 18 Americans are killed, some of their bodies dragged through the streets. Hundreds of Somali civilians and militia are also killed. The Blackhawk Down incident so humiliated America, it led to a complete US withdrawal from Somalia. This week, I spoke to one of the few US survivors.
As a country, and perhaps US foreign policy may have been more influenced by Blackhawk Down than anything in the late 20th century. I'm totally convinced that the US's decision to pull all US servicemen and women out of Somalia was probably the catalyst that caused the US not to get involved in the Rwanda genocide.
Chaos reigned in Somalia in the years after the US and UN withdrew. There followed an Ethiopian invasion, prompting an extremist militia to spring up. Al-Shabaab, meaning the young men, the same Al-Qaeda-linked group that attacked the Nairobi shopping centre last month. Leading the fight against Al-Shabaab today is the UN-backed African Union Force, AMISOM. The insurgents are losing ground, but still lashing out. Somalia is slowly recovering, but 20 years after Blackhawk Down, the legacy of that US humiliation lives on. Frank Gardner, BBC News.